everyone, I'm James Milan and welcome to this Town Hall update. I am joined as always by our town manager Jim Feeney, who has as always made the trek all the way up Mass Ave to our studio, which we appreciate. In this Town Hall update, we are going to have a couple of affordable housing updates. The town has also received a cybersecurity grant of $99,000, and we will talk about that as well. There's also a new prevention service manager. There continues to be more and more work around personnel. And we want to talk to begin with about a senior tax exemption that was authorized by Arlington voters at a special election way back in November of 2023. And that is now available, that is now in place. So what should residents know about that, Jim?
Sure. So first and foremost, we'll just start with the deadline to apply, and that is September 5th of this year. But this is what we know is the fiscal year 25 means-tested senior property tax exemption. So this is actually modeled on the Massachusetts senior circuit breaker. So the limits for that program, if you are a Arlington resident 65 years and older who qualified for that program, this program is likely going to be of interest to you. So obviously the Commonwealth sets the income threshold and the home valuation threshold, which in calendar year 2023 was $1,025,000. So, if you qualified under those thresholds for that program, there's a good chance you will qualify here in Arlington. The only separate test that Arlington, at least during the first year, will apply is that of an asset limit of $250,000, excluding, of course, your primary residence. So obviously there's a lot of detailed information about this program. It's going to be the first time the town is rolling it out. As you noted, it was just approved at the ballot in November of last calendar year. So the detailed information, the actual application packet, is available at the assessor's office. It's also available on their website. Please feel free to stop by Town Hall to pick one up, call, ask questions. I know this is new to folks, and we are, standing at the ready to assist and help people figure out if this is the right tax relief program for them.
Okay, and I'm imagine that most people who are listening understand already what it is we're talking about when we talk about a tax exemption, but would you mind just like not dumbing it down, but just kind of giving it to us in the simplest form? What does this mean that people will have access to?
So this would mean, with respect to your Arlington property taxes, it essentially serves, I think folks may not necessarily understand the word abatement, but it is a tax relief program. There's going to be some amount of money that would be reduced from your sort of taxable obligation with respect to your property tax bill. That number has yet to be set. There are certain caps on how much it can be, but it really depends on the number of applications that are received and then the actual level of relief that will be set by the members of the select board later this fall. It can range anywhere, I believe, from 50% to 200% of the amount available through the Commonwealth's circuit breaker limit. So there's still some things to be determined, but as with any property tax relief program, there's going to be some amount of relief available to folks who qualify.
Great. And as you said at the outset, we just want to remind people that September 5th is the deadline, and that's only just over a month away. So people do need to get on this.
Right. Thank you.
Great. Staying with housing as a topic, let's talk about affordable housing.
Sure. So Arlington, and I know we've talked about this a number of times, like every community in Massachusetts is experiencing a housing crisis that can't be ignored. I think, as we've said before, we are fortunate here in Arlington that our residents have long been supporters of policies and programs that create housing for low and moderate income families. So a few updates that are exciting that I wanted to pass along in that respect is, number one, earlier this week, I had the privilege of attending a ribbon cutting ceremony on Dorothy Road for a brand new all-electric, solar-powered, passive house certified accessory dwelling unit that was put on an existing property in East Arlington by the Housing Corporation of Arlington. So this program was made possible through approximately $260,000 of the town's ARPA funds that were provided through the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to the Housing Corporation of Arlington to help make this project possible. And aside from being our first, deed-restricted, affordable accessory dwelling unit in Arlington, as I noted, it checked a lot of boxes with respect to sustainability and efficiency and just helping the town, move towards its net zero goals. But what is further unique about this project is that it was actually constructed in a modular fashion at an off-site microfactory by a company known as Reframe Systems. So they, like I said, they use modular components, but they also have some cutting-edge robotic manufacturing techniques. So it was a really unique project, especially for a neighborhood in Arlington, to see a new unit show up, but not necessarily be constructed on site, and with all of the noise and increased traffic and some of the other potential nuisance type activities that can be associated with construction, largely get alleviated with modular offsite construction. So that was certainly a unique aspect of this project, but it's really quite an interesting building, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 900 square feet on 2 floors, and it was just a really successful project. It's going to be made available to a household earning less than 60% of area median income. So again, a wonderful project by the Housing Corporation of Arlington, who is really a champion of this work here in Arlington, and they certainly have a much larger project on the horizon as well, where they're looking at constructing 43, again, deed-restricted affordable units at 10 Sunnyside Ave, again, with a significant amount of support from the town through the Affordable Housing Trust and the Community Preservation Act, as well as state and federal funding. So, great projects. Certainly learn more at the Housing Corporation of Arlington website, but the town was privileged and honored to be a part of both that project and this upcoming project at Sunnyside.
And are the future residents at Dorothy Road, have they already been identified, or is that going to be,
So that'll be, they will be selected through a lottery process that is currently ongoing. So it'll be some time to know exactly who the lucky occupants of this new
I got it. I was going to refer to them as lucky,
Yeah.
And a lottery seems like the way that you have to go with this kind of thing. So they will be lucky in the end.
I think I actually had one more thing I wanted to say on affordable housing first, and that's just to plug a current request for proposals that we're doing. Again, with some of our ARPA funds that had been committed for affordable housing. We're calling it the Acquisition, Creation, and Conversion, or ACC program. And this is being managed by Arlington's Affordable Housing Trust. And this program, is sort of helping us start to reach our goal of creating or permitting 100 additional affordable housing units for low and moderate income households here in Arlington. So this program is going to be open to Arlington property owners, developers, nonprofits, and is offering a subsidy to create deed-restricted affordable housing in town. And part of this program is offering up to $250,000 per unit, depending on the level and terms of affordability proposed by the applicant. So the application deadline for this program is a ways out. It's September 30th, but why it's timely to talk about that today is there's actually going to be a virtual information session tonight, July 25th, at 6 p.m. that will be hosted by our Assistant Director of Planning and Community Development, Sarah Suarez, as well as the Affordable Housing Trust. If you're not able to attend tonight, certainly we will post it for viewing later if you're not able to attend, and that'll be available on the town's website.
Well, that certainly is timely, as you said. People will hopefully hear that in time. So, staying on familiar themes, longtime viewers would be aware that we often talk about money coming into Arlington through grants of different sorts. We've got one to talk about today.
Indeed, thank you for acknowledging that. We certainly work hard, chasing every dollar we can that doesn't come from Arlington's taxpayers. And again, we were fortunate enough to receive a grant for cybersecurity, just under $99,000. So back on July 15th, the Healy-Driscoll administration announced the award of nearly $7 million in federal grant funds to local governments and state agencies, across the Commonwealth, all aimed at enhancing cybersecurity initiatives and reducing cyber risk for public agencies, of which municipalities are. So here in Arlington, that money is going to go towards advancing our multi-factor authentication initiative. So this will help increasing the licenses we need for a number of our users, but also purchasing different types of hardware to make that initiative possible across the organization. So we're excited about those funds. Obviously, while we're on the topic of cybersecurity, I do have some other measures that I'm pleased to report are being implemented by the town's information technology team. So last month we did roll out a mandatory cybersecurity training for all staff, and we were able to get that funded through the state's municipal cybersecurity awareness grant program. So that it is a pretty elaborate training program that allows for testing along the way, and we can even test employees with certain types of common scams once it's completed to make sure that the training was effective. We're also right now testing, but we'll soon be rolling out what's known as an endpoint detection and response software package, and that will be done in the coming weeks for all of the town's computers and servers. And we're also expanding our threat defense in our email environment. A lot of cybersecurity threats, as we know, come in from the outside, and that initial entry vector is through email because it's where we are overly reliant on as a business practice. So, we've got some new tools that will enhance protection against spam, malware, phishing, impersonation, and even domain fraud. Some of these new tools use AI, so they're constantly adjusting. They're quite robust, but they adapt to, emerging threats. So, part of the platform we're on now actually has like a threat hunting and response feature. So even if something does go wrong, we have the ability to sort of like wall it off and mitigate it more quickly. So we're excited to have a lot of these tools. We're also expanding and doing additional cloud archiving and backup. So we're really enhancing our cybersecurity posture, and I just want to thank our IT team for implementing in a timely fashion all of these measures. But of course, we are certainly grateful to the Healy-Driscoll administration for its commitment to supporting municipalities against what are growing and evolving cyber threats.
Right. I mean, clearly all this adds up to quite a vigorous response to, Arlington's victimization that everybody is familiar with. So great to hear that. Okay, let's finish up where we often do, which is talking about the filling of another important position at Town Hall. Tell us about the new Prevention Services Manager.
Indeed. So we have a new Prevention Services Manager. Happy to welcome back Karen Koretsky, who will now fill the Prevention Services Manager role. So Karen actually had done a prior stint with the town, actually, and that stint was 9 years, for the last few of which she served as the executive director of the Arlington Youth Health and Safety Coalition, which is no more, but in fact, had a lot of work that will overlap with this current role. So we know that Karen will be able to hit the ground running. And in this prevention services role, she'll work obviously on projects related to substance use prevention, not just in youth, but in adults. But there will also be a focus on supporting individuals and families who are struggling with substance use disorders, especially those related to opioids, and helping Arlington sort of further its plan to spend the resources we're getting from a number of the settlements with some of those pharmaceutical companies that are, delivering dollars for very necessary and important work related to opioid use issues in your community. So welcome back, Karen. I know she started towards the end of June, but it's been a little bit since we've had an update, but I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to introduce her to the community, but also say welcome back.
Welcome back, Karen, and hit the ground running. There's plenty of work to be done, for sure. Okay, you know, you arrived with, and I knew we had about 4 topics to talk about, and there's a bunch of stuff there, and I was like, why? Turns out each one of them, lots to say. Anything we've missed?
Nope.
All right, we'll leave it at that, right? Won't give you a chance to think about it anymore. I have been speaking with Jim Feeney. He is our town manager for this town hall update. Lots and lots of good content as always. We appreciate Jim sharing with us, and we appreciate you being here as well. We will see you next time.